me think of the women's title fight that's being off. Now, this, of course, comes with grace, right? Kayla's been injured. Get well, Kayla. I'm just asking, what do we think about that? If we're to be really objective, don't pretend for me, please don't pretend for me that this is some huge fight. I mean, you lose that ability. It was a co-main event. Call me the skunk at the garden party. I'm trying to have a real honest and open conversation with you. Don't make believe. Okay, it's a co-main event. Now, why wasn't it interimed? The idea of 2 interim title fights on one card? I don't know that we've ever seen that, but I don't think anyone would have a problem with it. A neck injury is an interesting thing. I mean, a neck injury is a tough one. I can tell you mainly from wrestlers and from some football players that I've read about. That's a tough one. I look back. This whole conversation's a tough one, so give grace and let's speak freely. But I look back at Procházka, who was misdiagnosed. Jiří Procházka was misdiagnosed. Took the strap off in 7 days. He was to never return with the worst shoulder injury ever. Which was inaccurate, thankfully. And that's a shoulder. This is seemingly Dr. Chael. Seemingly a much bigger deal. And there's not talk of an interim title. I didn't see a 135-pound woman speak up. I didn't hear him step up. This would have been the perfect opportunity for the Bullet to come in and steal some shine. And I'm not suggesting for you that the Bullet would go in there and fight Amanda. I'm suggesting for you that the Bullet come to the media and claim that she will go in there and fight Amanda. They're not going to do the fight because she's an undisputed champion. Amanda's not a champion at all. They're not going to move an undisputed champion into an interim championship at a different title fight. It would have been great for headlines. Speak of missed opportunities. All right. But nobody else offered to do it either. And it would seem that Amanda's down to weight, and it would seem that she's trained, and it seems like she would like to get paid next week. Seems like she would have done a fight. So the idea that they didn't do a fight, they didn't do an interim fight, and they didn't fill somebody in for Amanda, is that a clue to us that they want to preserve this match because this is such a big match? Because I'm really not open to hearing you say that, considering it's a co-main event. And I know that's gonna sting of you that like to pretend that you're. Please stop. Please stop. You lose the ability to pretend as soon as it's announced as a co-main event. Another interesting thing about this fight is why at 135 pounds? And if we're going to contest it and there's going to be a lineage and there's no 145-pound division anymore, I'm wide open to these ideas. But if there isn't somebody to fill in for an interim championship, then it would strike me as though there's not a lineage. There's not going to be a history. There's not a whole row of girls that are willing to go in there with the winner of Kayla versus Amanda. If there was, we would bring one in now. We would put her with Amanda and we would do this fight later, which brings me to my further point of why don't you just have them fight at 145? If the whole thing is about these two girls getting in a cage and throwing punches and kicks at one another, why do they got to cut to 135 pounds? Neither of them weighs 135 pounds. The hardest part about fulfilling their contractual obligations is to beat the scale at a weight class that neither one of them wants to weigh. Just food for thought. I'm just throwing it out there. But if the idea really is for them to fight, it's not about the 135-pound championship. It would seem as though they could fight and not do it for the 135-pound championship. That's between them all. That's between them all. I'm just throwing out there, like, how disappointed are you that this fight is off? Do you want this fight preserved? Do you want it moved to another date? And I will tell you, when these kinds of things happen, purely from a promotional standpoint, it does make the fight bigger. It's not really different than anything else in life. right? Where scarcity or telling you you can't have something that you want, it makes you want it more. Like these things do become bigger. But what do you do? I mean, if you take the belt off Procházka in 7 days on a misdiagnosed MRI, this is a neck injury. That's a very difficult, historically very difficult thing to come back from. I think I'm sharing personal opinion. As a wrestler, I can't even tell you how many shoulder injuries I've seen of guys that went on to be NCAA champions or on Olympic. I never really got it. Procházka's got the worst shoulder in history. So, I mean, I remember thinking that. So, I mean, ask him. Don't tell me on an MRI you're going to take the belt off him. Ask him. Can you fight? Can you fight with a bad shoulder? I know guys that have won Olympic championships with one shoulder. What do you need a shoulder for? What do you need a shoulder for? I remember thinking that the day they pulled the belt off him. That's weird. That's the worst shoulder we've ever seen. So? You got two of them. I'm not trying to be crass on it. I'm trying to speak to the situation of where do you stand on this? Should have they interimed it? Should have they put Amanda in? It's just a big fight. We've got to preserve it. These two ladies got to fight. I feel like you can't really tell me that. I feel like you lose your ability to tell me that. But I will concede that the fight just became bigger. What would have you done? The biggest miss in this entire thing was by the Bullet. But the Bullet has the single worst PR team in the history of MMA. I'm not looking to take my usual shot at the Bullet. It's just stunning to me how misrepresented she is. It's stunning to me that she did not bang the drum to step in to fight Amanda to save the show of the debut of Paramount, particularly considering they would have never taken her up on it. Those are the shots that you want to take. You always want the free headline, right? I mean, it's no different than the champion whose job is to get the biggest paycheck against the easiest opponent. In the meantime, and in between time, go and get the headline. All right, fine. This isn't on the Bullet. It's just food for thought, and I'm wondering where you guys stand on it, and I hope that Kayla gets well. But a hard conversation in the event that she doesn't. Is Amanda going to fight someone else? Because if she is going to fight somebody else down the line after a training camp when she gets down to weight, why don't we just do it now since she's had a training camp and she's down to weight? It's just a question.